Well, welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Southeast Termite and Pest Control. We're all about to hit the dog days of summer here, and those can also be called the mosquito days of summer. I was bitten at a few times yesterday, as a matter of fact. But you can clear them out for good. I wasn't at home, by the way. So Southeast Termite and Pest Control can't be blamed. I was at somebody else's house and got snapped up a couple of times. They should call Southeast Termite and Pest Control because they can clear out all the mosquitoes for you, even if it's just a one-time outdoor event. They can do it. Southeast Termite and Pest Control, all kinds of treatment options. Give them a call this week. Good folks, and I've used them for many years. All right. The SEC announced its schedule on Friday evening, but elsewhere the news is a bit more bleak. The Mid-America Conference, that's FBS, that's Division I, they pushed their football season to the spring. That came out yesterday morning. UConn threw in the towel on their football season earlier in the week. There were rumors yesterday that the Big Ten might go ahead and follow the MAC's lead and postpone things. One report says that their commissioner feels that a spring season makes more sense than a fall season. So you got to wonder where they're going. If the Big Ten punts, you can better believe the Pac-12 will be right behind it. I think one of those will be the first two to quit if they do quit in the Power Five. But when you look at guys like Barry Alvarez, former football coach who's an AD at Wisconsin, here's his take on this. Let's go ahead and put his quote up there. He said, "I'm afraid. There's so many questions that are unanswered. I see things change every day. We have so much invested. I have a grandson playing. I'm invested in every student athlete on our campus. I want them to be safe." But he made it clear he's worried about the state of things. And then you see the message boards where people are saying, what's the big deal? These are young kids. They're fine. These are just sports writers trying to kill the season, which, if you think about it, doesn't make a lot of sense, but that's what I continue to see.
Because it's incorrect.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Barry Alvarez isn't a liberal snowflake sports writer. Pretty sure he's about as football coach as you can get. My question for you guys is, let's say dominoes start toppling elsewhere. You're down to the Big 12, ACC, and SEC. How bad does the SEC look if they play and they're one of only three conferences doing it? Does it look bad?
I would say it looks really bad.
Okay, really bad is the answer. Anybody else got a three-word answer?
It looks really bad, and it looks really bad if you have an incident. And if you have an incident, then you can be prepared that I wouldn't be so short to say that league, the people that made the decision to have that game wouldn't be on Capitol Hill at some point in front of a congressional unit testifying about why they made that decision. Was that the right decision? And everything coming to question underneath that. I don't believe that that's too far a prediction to say that that's going to happen, because everything about this disease has had political involved in it. So if you have a group that takes this and then there is a bad incident, I think that's going to be capitalized by some people, and I think you better see that you're going to have to answer in front of a lot of people.
Well, especially if the fact that it's adults making decisions that impact the lives of young people.
Exactly.
Unpaid young people.
You're going to have people that are saying, well, we have to defend the people who aren't getting defended by their coaches or their administrations or their conference commissioners. David?
Yeah, I just think you can't promise that you can protect them. You can't promise that they're going to not get infected, which when you've had the NBA bubbles, the NHL bubbles, the WNBA, they've had some success. MLS, they've had success doing that.
Bubbles
the bubbles have been working. You can say with reasonable regularity, hey, we're going to do a pretty good job of protecting you. There might be a handful of you that get infected, but you're going to be okay. And in college sports, that's just not the case. You can't say that, well, only a handful you're going to get infected. If you try to play college football, a lot of kids are going to get infected, and they're going to be obviously unpaid. And you don't know what the long-term effects of this are. You have a player at Clemson, one of their best defenders, Xavier Thomas, gets infected. He contracted strep on top of that. He's already sitting out the season, not because he wants to opt out, but because Dabo Swinney says he's not where he needs to be physically to be able to play college football. What does that mean for his long-term health? You look at what this does to the heart. There's so many variables about what the disease does to the body, and when you can't reasonably say kids are protected, you got a lot of issues.
Well, and there's this idea that, well, these young athletes will be fine. You've already seen some baseball players. Freddie Freeman of the Braves talked about how long this impacted him. You've got some NBA guys that took weeks to get over this. So you're talking about tip-top athletes in the primes of their career who just random. Not everybody, certainly not everybody. Maybe a small minority. But is one, do you just look at that and go, it's only one? So we'll get into that. I tell you what, I'll start with you in the next segment. I want to talk about the Leadership Council of the SEC reached out to, the SEC opened up the doors, did a teleconference, opened up their phones, did a teleconference with the SEC Student Athlete Leadership Council, and they voiced some concerns about playing. We'll tell you what the league said back to them. We'll get Will's take on, as a former player, what he would be thinking right now. Come on back on the Sport.